Welcome back, everyone. In this lecture, I'm going to discuss about the types of constants and literals that C programming supports. Please watch this lecture till the end. So if in near future, you're going to kickstart with different types of programming language for learning, this constants lecture will be a little bit helpful for that another type of programming language also, because all the programming languages deriving the same concept of C programming. So please concentrate the in whole lecture and watch it. And the prerequisite lecture for this is my previous one, that is data types and modifier. We'll get the link of that particular lecture, data types and modifier, in the description of this video. Okay, so let's start now. What is the constants and variables and various points related to that? Okay, so here it is. When we say constant means what? A constant is an entity that does not change during the execution of the program. That means if you assign something to an identifier, suppose I'm writing this here, I'm assuming that you know the data type. Okay, so if I write this, constant means the value that A hold at the time of initialization, we cannot modify later. This point is highlighted here. A constant is an entity does not change during the execution of the program. So that means if I write this, it must be an error. Okay, we'll see them shortly in compiler also. So when we write any program, we normally do lots of calculations, correct? Yes. And their values are stored into computer memory, absolutely correct, in RAM during the execution. To make these values useful and retrievable for further processes, all such memory locations are given a name. Yes, absolutely correct. So here you can say a name has been given A. So which a human, that means a programmer, can remember and use these names to read these memory blocks. So how it is actually memory blocks look like? A memory block look like a box, okay, and has the following properties: name. Yes, in this example, name is A value, the value is 20, here you can see 20, and an address. Okay, and an address, correct. So definitely when you reserve some memory block into computer RAM, all memory block will have an address. So you need to wait a little bit more in the playlist to get to know more about these addresses. I have highlighted these addresses in the concept of pointer. And you also going to know a little bit about the addresses at the time of the lecture input and output. Okay, so for the time being, I just want to highlight that a variable, any particular memory block have these three properties. A name, yes, a name, you can take this example, name is A value is 20, and an address. Okay, so definitely in a RAM, there are so many chunk of blocks are there. Which blocks has been allocated to this variable need certain addresses. So here you can see an example in this particular figure. The name is a variable is given var, and the value is given 20, and address, you can look at carefully, it's come in hexadecimal format. We'll see them very shortly. What is the meaning of this 0 and X? Okay, so these three properties, correct? So now let's move further. How to make something constant in C programming? Okay, how to make something as a constant in C programming? So here you can see, we're going to use the const keyword for that purpose, to make something constant in C programming, const keyword. In C, const keyword is used to create a variable of type constant. So we're going to change the property of a variable, correct, with the help of this keyword. So whose value cannot be changed by the program at the time of execution, or in between the execution, it cannot be modified. Why? Because here, you know, what is this actually const? It is actually called it modifier. Oh, sorry, it is called a qualifier, not modifier. It's called qualifier. It will qualify certain variable as a read-only property. It will qualify certain variable as a read-only property. Correct. So how to declare how to make a variable as constant with the help of const keyword. You can check this syntax here. Const is the keyword, should be right before the type of variable name, before the type. And then after the type, a variable name should be there and some value should be assigned at the time of declaration. This is the most important point. See, here type can be anything from the data type. Yes, we have discussed data type in the previous lecture. You can watch it. Most importantly, the use of assignment operator, this assignment operator is in constant declaration is required. Most importantly, whenever you declare a constant, this assignment operator is required. Why? You know, because if we want to give an initial value, this assignment operator is required. Why? Because later you cannot modify. Thereafter, use of assignment operator to update the value of a constant variable is illegal. Thereafter, you cannot assign. Okay, so here this const is actually the qualifier. We called it a qualifier. So to qualify that particular variable property as a read-only property. Now look at a twist here. Here I am placing the const keyword before the data type. You can also place the const keyword after the data type. The meaning will be remain same. Num is an integer constant and num is a constant of type integer. Both will be remain same. Meaning will be same. Just the way you're going to read it, it is different. Here, num is an integer constant. And here it is, num is a constant of type int. Okay, so let us see in the compiler, how can we make a variable as constant? Okay, I'm going to use online GDB compiler. You can do it in other C compiler available with you. So now suppose I'm declaring a variable here, num, and I do not want to do initialization. So there will be no issue, because why? You know, later I can assign any value to it. If I compile, there will be no problem. See, no problem, no error. But now, if I make this num as constant, now this line will raise an error. Look at what type of error it is raising. Look at the console carefully. Assignment of read-only variable num. So when you write the const keyword before a variable declaration, what it means, you know, the memory block reserved for num is now become read only. Means you can read it, you cannot do any updation. So this line now will be an error. This line will be an error. So that's why here I have mentioned that this assignment operation is necessary. This assignment operation is necessary. Why? Because later I cannot use this assignment operator to update. So constant means initialize it at the time of declaration. Later you cannot modify. Later we cannot modify. We cannot modify. Okay, so here it is also. Later I try to modify it, so I get an error. Correct? So let's put this thing in comment because it is not allowed anymore. And let's put some value over here. Okay, no problem. Can I read this value? Yes, we can. So here it is. I am declaring a variable over here now, a. Okay, and I'm initialize it to the num. So now see what I am doing. I'm reading the memory block of num. So there will be no problem. See, reading is no issue. If you try to write it, that means updation with assignment operation, problem. So keep this mind. Keep this point in your mind. Now, here what I have discussed, how a variable can become read-only with the help of const modifier. Correct? Now what I'm going to discuss? See, this 8 is what? This 8 is an integer constant. The meaning of 8 is remains same. The value of 8 is also remains same. It is a number. Correct? So now we're going to discuss about more such constants that you're going to use to initialize some variable or initialize some constant. We are not going to talk about this left-hand side part of the assignment operator. We're going to more talk about how and why and what are the various approach we need to follow that to initialize a variable with the help of certain constants. See, I'm writing it here. Integer k equal to 89. So what is 89? It is a number, integer number. In C programming, in any programming, we called it as a literals or integer constants. Correct? Similarly, if you write this thing now, k equal to suppose k plus num. Now see carefully, num is a constant. But what value it's sold, it's a constant literal. But what is k? K is a variable. You can again write k equal to k plus k. So now see, there is no more constants. So now we're going to see what are the various ways we can initialize a constants or variable with the help of literals in C programming. Okay, now see, in C programming, types of constants that we're going to use to initialize something. Okay, do not consider now that types of constant I am saying about these things, const, integer, k. I'm not saying about this side. I'm now going to discuss about this side. What type of values we can put. Okay, so types of constants, now we can see in C programming, it is categorized into 4 types, but it is grouped into 2. One is the numeric constants, another is the character constants. And these constants are also called literals. Literal means a symbol value, a value. Okay, we can have many types of values. Here you can see many types of values. A character also we have a name also, many types of values. So now we're going to discuss about those values that we can assign, we can use to initialize or update a particular variable or a constant. Correct. So under numeric constant, we're going to see 2 types. One other is integer, another is real valued. And under character constant, we're also going to see 2 types of constants. One is single character constants, another is multi-character constants are called string. Okay, so let's begin. Numeric constants. What are the rules over there? We're first going to discuss integer constants under numeric constants. So read the first point. These constants are represented with whole numbers. Whole numbers. Whole number means this is a whole number. This is a whole number. This is a whole number. With whole numbers, they require a minimum of 2 byte. Why 2 byte? Short integer is 2 byte. And maximum of 4 byte. So I'm considering here int is 4 byte. Memory. Following list of rules need to follow to construct an integer constant. So here are some rules I have listed. Let's see one by one. At least 1 digit, that means a whole number, is needed to represent an integer constant. So here is some example. A decimal point within an integer constant is not allowed. We cannot do this. This is not an integer constant, not an integer constant. So here you can see an example. Decimal point within an integer constant is not allowed. Correct? Next, an integer constant can be a positive or negative number. Yes. Suppose minus 35 or plus 35 can be positive and negative as well. Special characters like commas or blanks are not allowed within an integer constant. So see, you cannot assign this constant to an integer variable. Cannot assign. Blank space cannot allow. It is not allowed this type of constants. So when you say integer constant, there should be a single unit number, whole number, can be positive, can be negative. Yes, definitely. Okay. So next point, the range of integer constants depend on data types. That's why I told you, please saw my previous lecture on data types. So here it is also mentioned, it takes minimum 2 bytes. So short integer, it takes maximum 4 bytes. It will go with the integer. Okay, so here you can see an example. Print and decimal constant. Here you can see. I make this num variable as constant with the const keyword, and I have assigned the value 30 See, I follow the rules. What are the rules? It can be positive and negative. So no sign has been taken. So by default, it will be positive. By default, it is positive. Okay, 30. 30 is a whole number. Whole number. There is no comma, no space between the digits, and there is no decimal point. In between the digits. In between the digits. So I follow the rules. Then what type of constant it is? I would say integer type. Integer type. Then what is the format specifier of integer? %d to print that particular value. So now see in the printf statement, I'm using %d format specifier to print that value. So to what it will print? 30. Okay, so never write this way. Const integer num equal to not allowed. Okay, neither write this way, not allowed. Okay, no, do not place any special character in between. Simple answer. Neither write this way. So it is not integer, it is real valued constant. We'll see them later. Okay, don't do this thing. Okay, now we're going to see integer constants, types of integer constant. The previous example that you have seen here, I've taken a decimal integer constant. This is a decimal format, you know, decimal format. Number systems has 4 types: binary, decimal, hexadecimal, and octal. Please saw my number system video to understand the number system in detail. Here by default, integer constants are in decimal format. So this 30 will be actually this 30 actual value in decimal. So we'll see other integer constants. We'll have 2 other category. One is hexadecimal, another is octal. Okay, now see the constants I am discussing, it is nothing to deal with this. Nothing to deal with this. It is dealing with this part. Okay, this const is just a qualifier. It's inform the compiler integer value. This hex value cannot be modified. This oct variable value cannot modify. This is the only thing. But we are talking about this. What type of values that we can use to assign some variable or assign some constants. Correct. So now see what it is. 0x I am written and there is 0. Interesting factor. In the last example, I have written what? Num equal to 30. So this is in decimal. Then how to make this constant in hexadecimal? What you need to do? The prefix character 0 and x must be there before the value. So if I now write num equal to 0 and x and then I write 30, then this 30 is not anymore decimal, it is hexadecimal. Now this 30 is not 30, you need to identify what is the value of 30 in hexadecimal. So divide it by 16. What is this f? 14. 14 is e. So what will be the number? This will be the number in hexadecimal. Okay, so this is the hexadecimal number, actual number. But it is not in decimal, correct? This 30 is not in decimal. So 30 we get in hexadecimal, correct? So what do you need to do to get it in decimal? Very simple. This is 16 to the power 1 multiplied by 3 plus 16 to the power 0 multiplied by 0. This will get the decimal value. We'll see in compiler. Okay, so I'll come to this problem again. So let's see in the compiler. Yes. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to assign some hexadecimal constant to some integer variable. So 0x30. So now see, I did not use the const keyword. So that's why I'm telling you earlier that I'm not going to discuss about the const keyword. I'm going to discuss about what type of value you can put. See what type of value I put. I put a value in hexadecimal. So let's print the value of A in decimal. Run. Now see 48 as I calculated here. So that's why I told you watch number system video to understand. 16 to the power 1 is 16, 16 to 3 is 48, 48 plus 0 is 48. Okay, so 30 is assigned as a hexadecimal, not in decimal. So, sir, I want to see the hexadecimal value, the 30 as a hexadecimal. What to do? So, for that, we need to use a format specifier. Here you can see, I've taken a variable num which is read only, and I assigned an integer constant at its value 30. That is in now decimal. So in decimal, we're going to use the format specifier %d. So it will print me 30. But %o is the format specifier that is normally used for octal. And %x is the format specifier that we use to print a decimal value in hexadecimal. So let's see in the compiler. 30. No, now I'm going to make it decimal. So let's make it decimal. Correct. I'm going to print it in decimal, as well as I'm going to print it in octal. I'm going to also print it in hexadecimal. Sorry, 0x. Do not type OX by mistake. 0x. For octal, it is %O. Okay, so let's print its value in 3 different format. Now see. So 30 is 36 in octal and 1e is in hexadecimal, as we have calculated earlier. Clear? Okay, so sir, how to assign a octal number in an integer variable? So if you want to make it octal, make it 0 at front. So now compiler will understand it is an integer constant, but format is octal number system. So 30 will be represent octal value, not in decimal. If you want to make it decimal, what you need to do? You can use %d. So it will print in decimal. See now. Now see, 30 is become 24 in decimal. 30 remain is 30 in octal. In hexadecimal also is changed. Hexadecimal will work with the decimal value. Na? Divided 24 by 16, you'll get 8 as remainder and 1 is the divisor. So 18 is the hexadecimal number. Very interesting factor. Okay, 3 ways that we can do. Next, now let's move further to the another type of numeric constant, that is real valued constant. So now we're going to talk about this kind of constants. Okay, this type of constant. Let's see what are the different types we have. Real valued constants are often called floating point constants. So now I think you already get the idea what data type that I am talking. I'm going to talk about float and double. These are the two floating point data types that we have. One is single floating point and another is double floating point. This will take 4 byte and this will take 8 byte. Correct. Next, we have another one, long double, definitely with a modifier, with the help of a long modifier. So we'll keep strict to this lecture is float and double only. Real constants are very useful in programming language to represent entities like yes, height need a real valued number, some centimeter, some inch, length is also centimeter, inch, width is also, and distance also some kilometer and meter. So in C programming, how we can represent real constants? Two different ways we can represent real constants. One is fractional form, another is exponential form. We'll see each of the example of each of this category. Earlier, remember, integer constant can represent 3 ways: by default decimal, Put a 0 before the number, it will be octal. Put a 0x, it will become hexadecimal. So similar here also, floating point are of two types. One is fractional form and this is exponential form. Okay. So let us see some rules we need to follow while assigning some constants. So to whom we can assign these constants? Definitely, we're going to assign these constants to the float variables. Some fractional format, okay, we'll see them. Or you can assign it the exponential form also. Okay, we'll see what type of values we can see. So now you can consider here, I'm not using the const keyword. The same tell you earlier that I'm going to discuss about this part. What are the ways we can assign values to some variables or some read-only variables? I'm not going to talk about this constant. This constant simply change the property. I'm not talking about the property. I'm talking about whatever value I can assign. So now next, like integer constant, to construct a real constants, following points we need to take care. So let us see the first point. A real constant must have at least one digit and must have a decimal point attached to it. Okay, so one digit must have a decimal point attached to it. One digit must have a decimal point attached to it. Okay, 3 point. Okay, so now let us see in the compiler as well. So this type of values we need float data type. So let us take a float data type at least, and I'm writing 3 point. Give a semicolon. Let us compile. See, no error. This is the minimum requirement. One digit followed by one decimal point. You might thought, sir, what is the use of this decimal point here? We are not putting anything after the decimal point. So what by default compiler will do? So let us see. Printf %f. Okay, and f. It will print 3 and then 6 zeros. 6 zeros. Why 6 zeros? Because floating point data type supports up to 6 decimal point. Correct. So what is the requirement? Now 3 point is a floating point constant. Correct. Floating point constants. 3 point. Now next, it could be either a positive, either a negative. Yes, like integer, a floating point number can also be negative or as well as is positive. If you did not put any sign, it will be considered by default positive. If you put a minus sign, it will be considered a negative number. Like integers, we cannot put special characters, commas, blanks in between the floating point numbers, not allowed. See, not valid constants, not allowed, not allowed. Okay. So now see some examples. We'll discuss this two form, fractional, exponential. Just wait. Let us see some examples. Now, some facts about the C programming here. See, I'm writing f after this number. There is no f. There is also no f. Correct. So try to understand this concept here. What is the meaning of this f? Whenever you write something like this, float f equal to 3.92. What I told? How many floating point data types we have? Two types, float and double. Double is the higher data type, correct? It is present in C compiler. Long double is, you can say, higher. Long double comes with a modifier. So stick to the data type double. So what is the size of double? 8 byte. So when you write a floating point value like this way, your C compiler consider it is a double type. Double type. So how much memory C compiler will reserve? 8 byte. But I want this value should be in float. I want in 4 byte only. So that's why I have used here postfix character f, which will inform the compiler that this constant is a floating value, not the double one. So please take only 4 byte of memory, 4 bytes of memory. Correct. So let us see in the compiler. Let us see in the compiler. See, I'm going to just no need to use float right now. Just a minute. Let us check, is it really double? Okay, is it really double or not? Let us check. Okay, so here I am doing printf %d size of, I am writing 3.45. Let us see what is the output of this size of operator. Is it 4 or 8? See, it is 8. There is a warning because of size of operator in GDB compiler returns long unsigned integer. So better to use percentage LD. Okay, now see 8 byte. You might thought it is a float. Yes, it is a float, but I did not say it is a float data type. It is a floating point constant. Floating point constant can be of two types. One is single floating point represented by float, and this double floating point represented by double. So now, sir, I want it is a float only. So what you need to do? Now see 4 byte. I put the F after the number. So now compiler understand, okay, I need to save only 4 byte of memory reserve, not 8 byte. Got it? Okay, fine. So see, whenever you do this kind of initialization, float F equal to 9 point some numbers, do not just end here, because it will take 8 byte. From 8 byte, it will convert the number in 4 byte and assign it to the F. But a type conversion will be applied by the compiler because 9.56 by default is double. Correct. So what I need to do? Just add. Now it is 4 byte. Similarly with integer also. Correct. So let me show you. Printf percentage LD size of, I want in size of this, how much memory taken by this 3. See 4 byte. That's why if you remember in the PPT, I highlighted one point. See here the first point, they require minimum of 2 byte and maximum of 4 bytes. So maximum, always it is taking maximum. Compiler doesn't want to lose any information. So 4 byte is the maximum range. So I want it as a short integer. Is it possible? So let us do something here. No. No. So it will going to take 4 byte. It will going to take 4 byte. Okay, so remember this point. Okay, it is better to remember this point. Okay, so now let's proceed with the things. Next, I hope you understand this point here. What is the need of this F, correct? Now look at the second one. Here D is double, so I did not mention any postfix character here. So it will be take 8 byte of memory, no problem. So there is no typecasting, but 8 byte given to the 8 byte, no problem. Again, I have taken long double. So what we can do? Long is a modifier, correct? So again, I have not used any F over here, correct? It will be taken based on the memory required to save this value according to the range of long double. Next, what I have done, I have just going to print their values one by one. Floating point, whatever the type you are using, percentage F or percentage LF for double and percentage LF for long double, correct? By default, your C compiler going to print up to 6th decimal place for all of them. 6 decimal, 6 decimal, 6 decimal. So I just want to make some changes. So I've introduced a value for the precision. Right? So this value will be print up to 9th decimal point, and this value will be print up to 11th decimal point. So here you can see, after the percentage, I'm using a decimal point, and the value I have given 9. So it is print up to 9th decimal place, LF. And here I have taken another one after decimal point 11 and LF. It will print up to 11th decimal point. Okay, we can also check it in compiler. I have already made a separate video of working with the printf. You can see that video in the lecture series of this C programming. We'll get it in the playlist. Okay, so let us see in the compiler. So now suppose, so now let's make some float variable here f. So I'm assigning some constant to it. Okay, see, I'm going beyond the range also, more than 6. So if I print it, it will print up to 6 only. Percentage f and f. up to 6 decimal point. Look at the console, 6 decimal point, correct? 0.34530, 6 decimal point. I want it more. So what I can do, let's declare a few more variables. Double, okay, double D, and have some values. Okay, it is more than 6, correct? More than 6. I think there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 8. So how can I do that? Percentage LF is the format specifier for double, and I'm fixing. I did not fix it. The precision value. See how much it will print. Sorry, there is a way for error. Pass the D as well. Okay, now check. Now see, again it is also printing up to 6 decimal place. The double one also. So what I can do? So let's check first long double for long double. Okay, long double LD. I'm just writing a number. It is going beyond that particular range. Correct. So even though if I use now format specifier percentage LF, it is also print up to 6th decimal place. See, by default, this is the nature of compiler, correct? How they're going to be taken care by the floating constants. So if you want more, introduce the precision value here. Point up to 9. This one I want up to suppose 0.12. Sorry, what happened? 0.12. Now run. Now check, it crossed the range more than 6, it's going up to 9, the D, and the LD is going more than 9, that is up to 12, the number of precision that you want. Very interesting features, correct? So I hope the introduction part of this real valued constant is clear. Now look at to the other part. Whatever the points that we have covered, it is related to the fractional form. Okay, it is related to the fractional form. So now let's see how exponential form can be represented in C programming. Okay, so here you can see all the examples in my PPT. I'm also taken care by the const keyword and also assigning some constants. In compiler, I'm discussing without using the const keyword. So do not get confused. That's why I'm telling you that I'm not going to talk about the const modifier more. Instead, I'm going to talk about the type of values that we can assign with the assignment operator to a particular data type, correct? So that there is no confusion anymore. So let us see what is the meaning of exponential form. Rather, we also called it a scientific form. Okay, scientific form also, it is known, mentioned in some books and some websites. So if the real constant values are too small, when we need to use this fractional form, too small or too big, that we cannot write, okay, might be look very odd if we just write too small number. Here it is. Okay, too small number, now too big number. It is a too big number, correct? So instead of writing the number such as way, we can use this exponential form. So it's look like a little bit standard as well, while somebody going to see your code or any documentation that you have prepared, where some real value that you're going to take care. Okay, so let's see how they're going to be actually represented. The exponential form of a real number is represents with the character e. E represents exponential form. Then where to put this e, we'll see very shortly. And will represents in between a real value, in between a real value. Okay, what it means in between a real value. So let me just write. Suppose 2.39. Yes, see in between. Correct? You can see e is in between. Okay, in between real value. Okay, the exponential form of a real constant is represented in two parts. One part is known as mantissa, another part is called exponent. Correct. So here you can see in this particular example, I have declared a float f, which is property is read only, and I have assigned a floating point constants to it. So now in this constant there is an e. So now it is an exponent form, exponential form. Okay, and what is mantissa? The part appearing before e. So that means yes, this part is mantissa. And part appearing after e will be called the exponent. Okay, so please watch my floating point representation video also. After the particular this lecture, you'll also get that particular video is already there in the playlist. Okay, you can see that how this mantis and exponent will be taken care by the CPU to represent to convert that floating point number into binary, because finally the number should be in binary so that your CPU can process and understand, because binary is the machine language. Okay, so now let's move further. Let's see a couple of more examples. Now see. Some points you need to take care while you working with that exponential format of a numeric constant under floating point values. See, first point, the mantissa part may have a positive or negative sign. Yes, definitely. A floating point number can be negative, can be positive. So here you can see in this example that I have put, the mantissa part has a negative. Okay, and mantissa part, couple of examples we had positive. See, if you did not put any sign, it will be considered as a positive. If you want to put a sign, it is also possible. We'll see that in compiler. Okay, and no sign is preceded mantissa part, then it will be considered as a positive, as I told. So you can see it is positive mantissa and it is negative mantissa. Correct. And next, the exponent must have at least one digit. Okay, after e, there must be at least one digit, else this is not allowed, else it is not allowed. The exponent must have at least one digit, which must be a positive or negative. That means exponent can also be negative, can be positive. So now see the first one, f1. F1 mantissa is there, no problem in the mantissa, but look at the exponent. After e, there is no digit, so it is illegal. It is not allowed, error. Okay, now look at the second one. After e, there is a 10, no sign, that means positive. Okay. After e plus 2, 1, 2, okay, no problem. After e minus 8, no problem. Okay. Now see another one. There is this is my mantissa. Correct. Now see, e is not there. Even though if I put a sign, it will be considered the exponent. See here some valid examples. E is not there. Okay, no problem. Sign is there in between. Okay, it will be considered as a exponent part. And previous one will be mantissa part. Okay, the exponent forms like this and this are totally wrong. Why wrong? See, after e there is nothing. Okay, I hope you understand this. Okay, so let us see in the compiler some examples. Let's go with exponential form instead of simple format. Float f equal to, I'm writing now, 23.45 e. Okay, no digits after e, so we're expecting an error. See, error, not allowed. Exponent has no digit. See how beautiful GDV compiler. It is telling exactly what we have learned in the theory. After e, there must be a digit. So it is also telling exponent has no digit. Exponent is started, but no digit is there. Now let's put some digit. Now run. No issue, absolutely fine. Correct. So now can it be negative? No problem. Okay, beautiful. Can mantissa be negative? No problem. Very beautiful. Can it be positive? See, no problem. Can mantissa, can I use plus sign? Yes, why not? By default, it is plus also. Okay, very good. Can I write something like this? Float f1 equal to 0.00. Okay, no, nothing is there. Okay, 0 is there only. E, okay, where is it? E00. Its condition is that at least one digit. See, no problem. 0 is also a digit, na? End of that value is 0 only. Okay, you can print the value of f1. See, printf percentage f f1. Run it. See, 0 only. Correct. So now let's see the notes. Let's discuss here. So here I have taken 6 different floating point constants. although I have mentioned here const keyword. Okay, no need, you have seen in the compiler also. It is only change the property. F1. So this is my mantissa. This is my exponent part. This is exponent. This is exponent. Okay. Here exponent is -8. Here no exponent. No, sorry, exponent is there. I have not used E. So it will be also okay. Let us see in the compiler. Okay. So let's see. Now I'm writing F1 as 23.67 minus 4. See? Nothing is there. No E. So get the value. Correct. Get the value. How this exponent is taken care? Here I have given 23.67 minus 4, the output getting 19.67. So that's why I'm telling you, watch my floating point representation. If it is -4, they're going to be by default 10 as a base. Okay. -4 means that particular number will be divided by 10 to the power 4. Okay. And if it is +5, that particular number will be multiplied by 10 to the power 5. You can check the value of f, little bit higher range. See, higher range, correct? 10 to the power 5. So definitely 2, 3, 4, 5, 0. Okay, 10 to the power 5. 2, 3 is there, then 4, 5, 0, 0, 0. Become 10 to the power 5 and decimal place has been shifted. Got it? Now it is 10 to the power divided by 10 to the power 4, 10 to the power -4, correct? So now let's check the F1. So it will go in front. Okay, just a minute. F1. By mistake, I have written 1F. Now see, 67, it is there. Correct. So it's going to that side. If I use E, this is the way it is working. Okay, no problem. Sorry, after E should be signed. Yeah. Okay, now see. 10 to the power 4, na? So how many parts available? How many digits available before decimal point? 2 digits. I need to go 2 more. So 0, 0, 2, 3. Now see 0, 0, 2, 3. Shifted. Very beautiful concept. Correct. So in the floating point of view, we can use 3 format specifier we have. %f, in floating point fractional format, it will print. %e, it will print in exponential form, and %g, it will print in general form, that human understandable format. Okay. You can check it with %e also. So now f1 is my exponential form. So I want to print it in E, in exponential form. So see, it is going to print in exponential form. Okay. So whatever the numbers that you're going to assign, exactly the compiler going to be converted. Okay. So sometimes floating point number, some information might be lost. This is the way floating point representation is work. Okay. Careful taking floating point number in your program. If there is no need to use the floating point number, because processing a floating point number is a time consuming by the compiler's end. Okay, fine. So you can also use %g. Let us put everything together so that you can understand. F and also %g. I'm going to print only F1. So F1 and F1. So you can see 3 different outcomes. See, one is %f is represented in the fractional form. So E is not there. %e is printing in exponential form, so it is retreat that number in the way that I have assigned. It is also converted on its own way. Then %g is here also similar to the %f, because this is the human understandable form. Okay, so now let's proceed. Let's see the character constants. As I told you, character constants are 2 types in the first category here. 2 types: single character constant, multi-character constants. Correct. So let us go with the single character constant first. A single character constant is represented with a single character. Yes. It can be represented with a single digit or single alphabet or single special symbol. So it is also a character. 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 Or a white space, even white space, enclosed within a pair of single quote. Character, 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 character. It is also character. Okay, this is important. Within a pair of single quotation marks. Okay, here are some examples. This single character constants is a very close relation with the integer as well. Very close relation. See, each single character constant has integer values known as ASCII values. I've discussed this part in the data type as well. Okay, ASCII values, because internally it's going to convert into binary. The character cannot be converted into binary directly. It need to be converted to first in decimal, then it to be in binary. So formally, ASCII is a 7-bit code. Okay, in C programming point of view, 7-bit code, 2 to the power 7, that is 128. So unsigned character will be range from this, sorry, 255 unsigned characters, and signed character will be the range from minus 128 to plus 127. Okay, the valid range is this. Many people are used to thinking of it is 8-bit code because bytes are 8 bits wide and characters are stored in bytes. Okay, so some other reserves is also there, so that international characters can be also taken care. So see here the relation between single character and integer. I have taken care of character constants a, and the value has been assigned to ch. The type of ch is a character constants. Okay, 65 is an integer constant, correct? Assigned to an integer constant val. You can check val, and it is a type of integer constant. Now what I have done, I have declared another character constant. Here you can see character constant ch2, and I have assigned val. So what is the range of character? Valid range. This is the valid range, correct? So now look at this value is come within this range. 65 is greater than 0 and less than 127. It is coming within this range. So that means this value is known to the character data as well. So when I assign this val to ch, what it will assign? It will assign a character whose ASCII value is 65. So 65 will be considered as an ASCII value. So now see what ch1 and the val is get printed. What is the type of val? Integer. Here is val, but what type of format specifier I am using? %c. So it will convert it to character. What is the value of val? 65. See what it prints, a. So what is 65? 65 is the ASCII value of a. Okay, now see the second one, ch1. What is the type of ch1? Character. But what type of format specifier I am using? %d. %d is for integer. So now this character will be converted to integer. So what character it holds? It holds a. So what is the integer value? 65. Now see, I get 65 ASCII value. So very close relation between the single character and integer, not for the multi-character, single character. You can practice with others also. Now see the string literal, very important concept. String literals comes with the multiple characters inside the double quotes. See, a string constant is a sequence of characters enclosed in double quotes. Character comes in a single quotes and multiple character strings comes into the double quotes. The characters comprising the string constant are stored in successive memory locations. Successive, that means continuous. Okay, they are in continuous strings. Just I'm placing a name over here, outreach. So how many characters are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 characters are there. So it is called sequence of characters. So how it's going to be taken care? Inside the double quotes. Inside the double quotes. Following rules need to follow while using the string constant. Look at the rules. A string constants can have one or more characters. Yes. A string can have only one character. Double quote means string. It means character. Okay, single quote means character. Number of character, here is also one, here is also one. But due to the way that you are represented, it is a character constant and it is a string literal. We call it constants. A string constants can have a blank space in between. Yes. This is the only constant allow the blank spaces. You are taking your name. Okay, so suppose your first name is this. Second name is suppose this. Second name. So it can be a space is also allowed. How to do that? Two way we can represent. One using a character pointer. We'll see the pointer concept later in this playlist. and one using a character array. Okay, so array is also there. After the function topic, I have put there in the playlist, so you can check it from the playlist as well. So two ways we can represent, using a pointer and using an array. So for the timing, I'm not going to discuss what is array and pointer. You need to wait a little bit. So we can use the functions like a putS, unformatted library function, to print a particular string. We can also use printf to print a string using %s is the format specifier. It also print the same value, where you can check in the console we are getting the same values. Okay, so we're done with the constant. There are no more points left to discuss with the constant, but there are still something that we need to discuss with the variables. I hope you already understand what is variable and constant, because at the beginning of the lecture I have discussed both the things. Okay, so again, when you say variable, variable const keyword is not required. Only this syntax we need to follow. Type and variable name, and assignment operator is also not required. If you just place now the syntax of constants, so here is the syntax of constants. Okay, this is the syntax for constants, and this is the syntax for variable. Correct. So see the differences here. This can be changed later, so that's why I have not initialized it. This cannot be changed later, that's why initialization is important. Some example here you can see age is declared as an integer variable. Grade is declared as a character variable. It can hold only single character. We can also consider a number as a positive integer variable. So for that, unsigned modifier need to be used along with the integer or short integer. So here I've used two modifier. One is unsigned, another is short. So short integer will take 2 bytes of memory. Okay, and unsigned will be only positive numbers. We can also have a variable like the float marks. You can also use the double, long double, whatever you want, the combination with the various data types. So some rules while declaring variables. Here you can see I have declared multiple variables. So what to do? I need to use comma as a separator in between. So now a and b both will be an integer variable. We can declare as many as we want, but comma should be separated. So all are integer variables. So it reduces the number of lines in your source code. You can use comma as a separator, else you need to write int b, again int c, int d, int d. So now it will be considered as a single statement, and all of the type will be considered as an integer. Similarly, you can use this rule for float also. You can follow this type of syntax, declaring multiple variables with the help of comma for other data types as well. Some rules while we need to follow while constructing a variable name. Better to say identifier name. That name that we are creating here, C, A, F, I, CGPA marks, these are called the names, identifier names. So some names you need to keep in mind, some rules while keeping this name. A variable name is any combination of 1 to 31 numbers of alphabet. This standard has been decided by the ANSI standard. Not more than 31 numbers of characters in a given name. This name, it cannot be more than 31 characters. It can have alphabets, it can have numbers and underscore. Any other special characters are not allowed. But it can have alphabets, numbers and underscore. Let us see a few more rules. For example, this it comprises of alphabets and special character. It is also have alphabets and special character. And now it is a alphabets and number. If you look, something is common in 3 different names. All 3 names started with alphabet. This is the very important rule. Okay. Next, the second point, a variable name must be started with an alphabet or an underscore. So this is the second point. That's how I highlighted in the previous example. See, this variable name started with an underscore. Okay, no problem. This variable name comprises both characters and numbers, but started with alphabet. This is the rules. Okay. You cannot create any variable name like this, because hash is a special symbol. It has a different meaning in C programming. We use this hash symbol for including a header file with the use of preprocessor directive hash include. So it is a preprocessor directive, so it is a separate meaning. So we cannot use this hash for the variable names. Similarly, look at the second name. Here we have started the variable name with 1, but it is not allowed. It is illegal names. These are illegal names. Names, you never say, na, one Ram. If there is a two person in a same room with same name, so we can call one to them, okay, senior or junior, but we never say, na, one, two, like that. Okay. Next, no commas and blank spaces are allowed within the variable name. Yes, invalid name, not allowed. No space, no comma. Okay. A variable name can have a mix of upper and lowercase characters. Yes, see, the variable name is given uppercase and lowercase. It is called toggle case or camel case. Okay. We are following this kind of variable names in the projects of C programming when names are comprised of multiple words. Okay. So you can also make it this. Two names having the same characters but different, varying with upper and lower case represents two different names. See, in C compiler, C programming language is case sensitive. If you are writing this and writing this, these two English meaning is same. One is A in lowercase and another is A in uppercase. But in programming, these two will be considered as two different names. So case sensitive, correct? So see, for example, here the meaning is same. What I want to say, how to spell it, name, either it is uppercase or that is lowercase, it is name, but these two represent two different name in C compiler. Okay, so it's make the C compiler C programming as a case sensitive. No special characters other than underscore is allowed. Yes, we have discussed this point already as part of the variable name. So this is are the variant names. We can start with a variable name with underscore. Underscore can be placed in between. Underscore can be placed at last also. So let us see in the compiler. Okay, let us see in the compiler. Some forming the variable names. Integer underscore num. Okay, now I'm writing integer num underscore. Okay, see, both are different, correct? They come in different way. So now again I am declaring num. Yes, so run this. See, no problem, correct? So can a variable name only underscore? We can check this. Only underscore. Let us run. See, no issue. Okay, we cannot keep these things. Integer, suppose hash, num, not allowed. No, hash is a separate meaning. Okay, fine. So let us see how can initialize the variable. We can assign the value directly to the variable like constant while we are declaring it. Correct. Here also float variable get initialized, unsigned short integer also initialized, and long integer case also initialized. These are all called static initialization. Static initialization. Okay, so like declaration, we can also initialize multiple variables in one statement. So in this examples I have highlighted statements have only one variable and I'm initializing. In the previous slide I have discussed that we can also declare multiple variables in one statement, float, f and k, integer a and b. Similarly, we can initialize multiple variables in one statement while declaring. See, now 8 has been given to a and 9 has been given to b, so they need to be initialized separately. Okay, they need to be initialized separately. Careful, if we write this, suppose int a equal to 8 comma b, then 8 is given only a. Correct. If I write this int a comma b equal to 9, then 9 is given only b, not a. So a is have some garbage value, here b has some garbage value. Careful. Okay. So next, while initializing multiple variables in one statement, we cannot assign the same value to all variables using one declaration statement. Okay, so that's why I'm telling you, do not consider 9 has been given to b as a lesser. No, 9 belongs to b only. Here 8 belongs to a only. We cannot give multiple same values for multiple variables using comma, not allowed. So now let us talk about the scope of variables. Very, very important topic. When you talk about the variables, every variable has certain scope. So here you can see before main method, I have declared a variable over here num. We called it a global variable. So whenever you declare a variable in between the header file and the main method, it's considered as a global variable. Means I can access it from anywhere in this code. See, global variable can be accessed from anywhere. Scope is file scope. We'll discuss a separate topic is there, storage class, where you're going to understand the scope in detail. Scope means its lifetime, you can say. Okay, till what lifetime this variable is alive in RAM. So num20 is a global variable, so it is alive in the RAM till the execution of main method. Why? because main is the starting point of execution and main is the ending point of program execution. Correct? Okay, so now let's draw the picture of a RAM here so that you can understand this concept. In a RAM, okay, in a RAM, so a block has been reserved for the global variables. So num is allocated the value 20. So now it is gets memory from here. Then main method is calling. So I'm allocated a separate memory block for main. So this is for main. Okay. So a local variable B has been allocated inside the main value 100. Okay. So this is here. Inside main C, I have created a local block. Sorry, just a minute. Okay, inside main method, I have created a local block. Correct. So you can say this is the local block. Okay, within the main, but it is a separate block within the main. So inside this local block, I have declared a variable a equal to 90. Okay, so a gets memory from here. Next, num equal to 10. Now look at num. So first of all, compiler will check this num is within this local block is declared or not. He found that no, num is not declared. So it will refer the global variable. Then it will check, is it available inside the main block? No. So it will go into the refer to the global variable. So accessing the global variable. Okay. So now it is accessing the global variable num. So the num will be updated to 10. B equal to 30. Again, it will check B is in my block. No, it is from the main block. So B again updated by 30. Now I'm writing A plus plus. So it is same found. Okay, A is within my block. So I'll be update the A directly. So it will be now 91, A equal to 91. Now say the next point. Here I'm accessing A plus plus outside of this block in which A is declared. A declared within this block only. Correct. So this is a local variable to this inner block. This local variable cannot access outside of this block. This is the point. Local variable cannot be accessed from the outside and gets the block scope. It gets the block scope. Means I can use it within this block in which it is declared. But here I'm accessing A outside of this block, not allowed. So it is error. Why? Because when my program is executing and program control come outside of this local block, immediately that local block will be erased from the RAM. Num equal to 20. Yes, it is possible. Num is a global variable. So now num become 20. Global variable can access from anywhere. It is written anywhere. B equal to 40. B is present in main block. Yes, B is present in main block. No problem. So 30 become 40. Okay, so this is the scope of variable. If you declare inside a particular block, you cannot use it outside of the block. But if you declare anything outside of the block, you can use it from inside as well as outside. So for example, B is main. Inside main, I'm accessing it from main. I'm also accessing it from the inner block. Okay, so here see, num is a global variable accessing from main. Yes, accessing from main where I have accessed. Yes, accessing from main and inner block. So here also I'm accessing. Means anywhere. B is a local variable of main and can access from main and inner block. So I'm accessing from inner block. I'm also accessing from main. Okay. And here A is a local variable to the inner block of main. So restricts its access to inner block only. So that's why accessing A is an error. It is an error. Okay, so keep in mind scope of variable. We'll see the scope later with the storage class more in detail. So this is the end of this lecture. I hope you will enjoy this constants and variable little bit lengthy. See, this is I'm just running this YouTube channel, not like just a pro YouTuber. I'm not a YouTuber. I'm a teacher. Correct. I can finish this C programming within 1 hour. Then you will not understand everything. My videos will always be lengthy, 1 hour, more than 1 hour. So keep watching the video till the end. You're definitely going to learn something new. Okay, so do not forget to subscribe this channel. I'm going to putting more videos in coming days so that you can get directly the notification in your email. You can visit our Facebook page also, facebook.com/learn programming. So here we have the address. Yes. Okay, you can visit our sites also. I'm maintaining a Google sites. Okay, so have a nice day and keep subscribing my channel and share the contents with your friends. Thank you very much and have a nice day. We'll see you very shortly with another lecture.